I know. Daggerheart is not Dungeons and Dragons.
If you wanna play Dungeons and Dragons, just play Dungeons and Dragons already.
But what if you want to play Daggerheart with some sense of familiarity? What if you are converting a Dungeons and Dragons campaign to a Daggerheart one, and there are some cantrips that makes your character exactly who it is? What if you do what makes you happy? Well, if that is your case, today is your lucky day. On this video you get 9 new level 1 domain options to use in your character if your GM allows for it. I revised every single one D&D 2024 cantrip. Most of them are already covered in Daggerheart one way or another, as you can see. Daggerheart does not have as many damage types as Dungeons and Dragons. It's only magical or physical, so a lot of them could just be reflavored anyway. So to convert a cantrip into a level 1 spell, I actually put 2 of them on each domain cards, so they're worth it. And in an effort to choose 2 of them, I picked the most iconic ones. And while I were into that, I picked 2 maneuvers for each martial domain, so nobody's left out. If you don't know, maneuvers are some nice mechanics from the Battle Master subclass in Dungeons and Dragons. The result are what I call tap cards, in a homage to the touched cards at level 7. I do believe they come pretty well balanced, as this is a priority in my homebrew. And while I was finishing it, I came out with an idea akin to Dungeons & Dragons Initiate origin features. If your game table finds it fun, your GM could allow any tap card for any type of character, independently of their domains. A sorcerer trained into the sword arts, a seraph with a little dip into the darkness, a guardian with a sharp tongue. Those make for characters even more complex and interesting for your stories, and that's what we're here for. I'm Babu, and today I bring you some effective cantrips for Daggerheart. Let's start with the Grey Step. Here I'm talking about 2 opposite cantrips that were never touched by Daggerheart: Vicious Mockery and Friends. Their duality made for a nice round domain card. Sudden Insult makes your target mark a stress and have disadvantage on their next action roll. Sudden Empathy turns a neutral target immediately friendly towards you. But differently from Friends, the target does not immediately know it was victim of a spell. They will only know if your GM spends a fear to spice things up. Splendor Tap may seem like it just has one effect, but that's because both effects are effectively one and the same. Here we cover Blade Ward and Resistance, effectively allowing you to choose protection from physical or magical damage. For Codex Tap, we cover True Strike and Firebolt. In Dungeons & Dragons 2024, True Strike is a nice little cantrip that allows the caster to use their intelligence with any weapon. So with Attunement, we are allowing your character to do just that, allowing for some nice versatility. Firebolt could very well be just a flavor for any ranged magical weapon attack, but I simply had to bring it in because it's such a staple in Dungeons & Dragons. It's a simple and well-rounded, far-ranged spell. And with Attunement, you could be going for a melee weapon anyway, so it adds to some versatility. For Arcana Tap, we're covering Mind's Lever and Shocking Grasp. In Dungeons & Dragons, Mind's Lever attacks the enemy's reactions, so I reflavored that by making the adversary mark a stress. Shocking Grasp is understandably out of Daggerheart because we don't have the attack of opportunity rule here. So I reflavored that by not allowing the target to target you on their next attack. For Sage Tap, we're going with Shillelag and Starry Wisp. Shillelag. 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 Shillelag is such a classic for druids, I had to bring it in. It turned out as a simple and effective spell that allows you to mark a stress to add some damage to your attack. And here I encourage the GM to allow it to be cast after they revealed the reached threshold, allowing the player to try to maybe reach the next one with some extra damage. Starry Wisp is but a smaller version of Guiding Bolt that we have in Daggerheart as Bolt Beacon. But Bolt Beacon is on the Splendor domain, and this is such a signature move for druids that I had to bring it in. Here it's a somewhat weaker version of Magic Bolt with a circumstantial effect of not letting this adversary turn invisible. Midnight Tap brought in Thaumaturgy and Chill Touch. One could argue Thaumaturgy is a feature in the Infernus Ancestry card, but I don't think this effect should be exclusive to an Ancestry. And as the core rule dictates, you could stack both advantages. You roll 2d6 and pick the highest one. Grave Touch is admittedly another circumstantial effect that prevents the adversary from restoring hit points. As Midnight and Sage Step have some highly circumstantial effects, you'll notice I balanced that by dropping down their recall cost to 0. Now we're getting to the martial domains. For those, I reflavored some maneuvers from the subclass Battle Master in Dungeons & Dragons. Valor Tap got Bait and Switch and Trip Attack. You can protect an ally, granting disadvantage on an adversary's next attack against them. Additionally, you could mark a stress to drop an adversary down. To represent them trying to get back up, they are vulnerable and restrained until their next action. Blade Tap got Disarming Attack and Precision Attack. Disarm got a lot of value and flavor, allowing for some cool shenanigans. Precision is essentially the reassurance spell from the Splendor domain, but only for you and only for attack rolls. The Bone Tap got Destructive Strike and Evasive Footwork. Over here is basically a help action, but you're paying with disadvantage instead of a hope. Close Call is for those moments when the adversary just hits your evasion score. Then you can mark a stress and turn that into a miss. I love homebrewing for Daggerheart. I try to keep it elegant and simple, just like the core rulebook. And while I do that, of course, I strive for balance and fun. I'm by no means perfect, and your GM should keep an eye open for rebalance and tweaking things up on the run. In any case, I'm quite proud of how this turned out, and I hope they can bring some diversity and fun to your table. If those gave you some character ideas, please bring it on in the comments. And for now, thank you for your time. It is valuable and I appreciate it.